If you'll turn to the first presentation outline, we're going to start with the book by Jeff Goins today called Real Artists Don't Starve. Since what he really says is, all of us are artists, and we can all learn creative techniques and strategies to help us do our work better. On page 2 of your outline, I reproduced a brief biography of Jeff Goins. His previous book, that was a bestseller, was called The Art of Work. And the book we're doing today has been a New York Times bestseller, Business Week bestseller. It has been very popular. And he also has a terrific blog, one of the most popular blogs that you have in the blogging world. So if you look at the outline on the premise of the book, this is what the author says. This is not in your outline. I just want to read you a quick quote from the book. He says, "Today, with more opportunity than ever to share our work with the world, we need a different model for creative work. The world needs our work, whether that's an idea for a book, a vision for a startup, or a dream for a community, and you shouldn't have to struggle to create it. We all have creative gifts to share, and in that respect, we're all artists. But what does it mean to be a real artist? It means you are spending your time doing the things that matter most to you. It means you don't need someone else's permission to create. It means you aren't doing your work in secret, hoping someone may discover it someday. The world is taking you seriously." And the quote you see on your outline says, "Making a living off your creative talent has never been easier. The idea of the starving artist is a useless myth that holds us back more than helps us." Now, Jeff Goins is not a person who does sculpture, and he's not an architect, and he's not a painter. He is a writer, but he considers himself an artist and is certainly very creative. So this is how you fool somebody. You read the book yourself. This table you see on your outline, page 3, these are the rules of the new Renaissance. And what he does in this table is contrast starving artists and thriving artists. And y'all, for some reason, I just can't get out of my mind starving students in the moving van. So that's not what this book is about. But I can't get rid of thinking about that. But this contrasts those two types of creative people. And these 12 parts of the table that you see here correspond with the 12 chapters of the book. And he divides the book into 3 major sections. Each one has several chapters, and each one links back to one of these rules of the new Renaissance. So then if you go down to page 5, the last part of the book talks about money. And the point here is that you can have great art, no matter what it is, and you can be creative, but charging is what brings dignity to our work. You must believe your work is worth charging for. And y'all, I go back to what I learned in the Speakers Association. People said if you speak well and you don't get paid for it, you have a hobby, not a business. And that's probably true of any creative work that you do. If you're creative, it's good work, but nobody's charging for it. You're not getting any money for it. You're really doing it as a hobby and not a business. And so you see on your outline, charging what you're worth begins with the belief that you're worth what you charge. And then the rest of the book talks about how money works in terms of selling off product, when you know it's the right time to sell, and when you keep what parts of your work. He uses the term gatekeepers, who are people who can introduce you to others and help you find people who will purchase and buy a stake in what you do. And then always to think about, in chapter 11, diversifying your portfolio, because the more you take on in different kinds of fields, the more opportunities you have to obviously make more money. And then chapter 12, make money to make art. Money is the means to making art, but it must never be the master. We must be creating with full bellies and full souls. So this book is really about creativity. And what makes it a business book, obviously, is you can tell all of these things about the marketplace and customers and strategies and, of course, financial kinds of issues. And that's what made it a bestseller. And y'all, it's also full of stories. Whoever wins this book today There's an awful lot of stories ranging all the way from, as I said, Jeff Bezos to Michelangelo and other people. That's why it's a bestseller and been a very intriguing book. I hope you enjoyed the synopsis of Real Artists Don't Starve.